Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 33, Activities of Lord Kapila. So we have just concluded the previous chapter. Is there any small discussion we can take up? Any question or any discussion? Okay, there is a personal question on the chat. What is this Prema Maitri Krupa Upeksha? Okay. So see, this is the level of a Madhyamadikari, where Prema, Maitri, Krupa, Upeksha, these are the principles one has to follow very systematically. Okay. Prema means one should love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Maitri is, Maitri is towards the equal devotees, those who are equal to us. For the, we should have great appreciation for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Senior devotees, one spiritual master, that is a great appreciation it goes in. Maitri is towards the equal devotees. Krupa is towards so that is about Krupa. Krupa is, Krupa is simply means spreading the message of Krishna consciousness, being kind, whatever is, we can be something, we should be always kind to people in general. This is the Krupa. Upeksha means there is two levels of Upeksha. One level is, it is called as the Upeksha of the people who are like envious of the devotees of the Lord. And sometimes Upeksha is a very strong word to use for there, but the Upeksha also means that sometimes we may not be handle certain devotee situations, and there also one should be careful. Right? That also comes as a part of, it is not outrightly Upeksha, but what it means is we should choose our situations properly. Right? There is no point that, we end up in a situation and then later keep on crying about that situation. One should be slightly foreseeing, and one should see that, where this is going to lead to. Like, for example, certain devotee is very famous for his, very long classes. And then when you go and sit for his class, and then there is no point crying that Prabhuji, bahut time chala gaya. You already know that, that such and such devotee is famous for something. So similarly, one should project oneself that, what I am going to do, is how it is going to, what is the natural outcome of what I am doing, right? And accordingly, one has to decide. So this is also one very important part. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah, chalo. So we proceed with the next chapter. That is chapter 33. And this is the last chapter of third canto. Right. Now, needless to say, 333. Okay. Sequence of 333s. Third canto has 33 chapters. So this is very easy to remember. Third canto has 33 chapters. So this chapter 33, just one second. So this chapter 33, it is divided into 5 sections. So section 1 is from text 1 to 8. Now Devahūti, she is going to offer prayers. So prayers of Devahūti, section first. 9 to 12, text 9 to 12, these are the final instructions to Devahūti. Right. So these are the final instructions to Devahūti. 13 to 32, Devahūti attains perfection. And then 33 to 35, this is the activities of Lord Kapila. And then 36, 37, beautiful Falashruti that we will be hearing from this particular chapter. So this section is divided into, this chapter is divided into 5 sections. Devahūti's prayers, 1 to 8. Final instructions to Devahūti, 9 to 12. 13 to 32, Devahūti attained perfection. 33, 34, 35, activities of Lord Kapila. And 36, 37, Falashruti. This is how we will conclude the chapter. So we go ahead, and this is text 1. Maitreya uvacha evam nishamya kapilasya vacho janitri sakardamasya daita kila devahutihi vistrastramoha tama abhripranamya tushtava tattva vishayankita siddhi bhumim. Translation.
Śrī Maitreya said, thus Devahūti, the mother of Lord Kapila and wife of Kardama Muni, became freed from all ignorance concerning devotional service and transcendental knowledge. She offered her obeisances unto the Lord, the author of the basic principles of Sankhya system of philosophy, which is the background of liberation, and she satisfied him with the following verses of prayer. Purport. The system of philosophy initiated by Lord Kapila before his mother is the background for situation on the spiritual platform. The specific significance of the system of philosophy is stated herein as Siddhi Bhumim. It is the background of salvation. People who are suffering in this material world because they are conditioned by the material energy can easily get freedom from the clutches of matter by understanding the Sankhya philosophy initiated by Lord Kapila. By this system of philosophy, one can immediately become free, even though one is situated in this material world. That stage is called as Jivana Mukti. Even though one stays in his material body. That happened for Devahūti, the mother of Lord Kapila, and she therefore satisfied the Lord by offering her prayers. Anyone who understands the basic principle of Sankhya philosophy is elevated in devotional service and becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated even within this material world. Hare Krishna.
So now Maitreya. So this is the Maitreya Vidura Samvad. Evam nishamya. Nishamya means having heard, all these beautiful vachasaha. Kapilasya vacha. Janitri. She is Mata. She is the mother of Lord Kapila. Kapilasya and Kardamasya, and wife of Kardama Muni, the great Devahūti. She began to offer prayers unto the Supreme Lord on the background of this Prishta Bhumim, Siddha Bhumim. The Siddha Bhumim is that the background is towards Sankhya philosophy. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the system of philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila is the background for the situation on the spiritual platform. Therefore, it is called as Siddha Bhumi, the background of salvation. And if one very clearly understands Sankhya Yoga, one will be very easily elevated in Bhakti Yoga. Because there is no difference in Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is understanding why, and Bhakti Yoga is understanding how. Right? And this is how Sankhya Yoga naturally culminates in Bhakti Yoga. So she began to offer her prayers towards the Supreme Lord. And next 6 shlokas, they are the prayers of Devahūti to Lord Kapila, her own son. X2. Devahūti Ruvacha Athapya Aja Antasalile Shayanam Bhutendriyarthamatmamayam Vapuste Gunapravaham Shada Sheshabijam Dadyau Swayam Yat Jatarabjajatah.
Translation. Devahūti said, Brahma is said to be unborn because he takes birth from the lotus flower which grows from your abdomen while you lie in the ocean at the bottom of the universe. But even Brahma simply meditated upon you, whose body is the source of unlimited universes. Purport. Brahma is also named Aja, he who is unborn. Whenever we think of someone's birth, there must be a material father and mother, for thus one is born. But Brahma, being the first living creature within this universe, was born directly from the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the Vishnu form lying down in the ocean at the bottom of the universe. Devahūti wanted to impress upon the Lord that when Brahma wants to see him, he has to meditate upon him. You are the seed of all creation, she said. Although Brahma was directly born from you, he still has to perform many years of meditation, and even then he cannot see you directly, face to face. Your body is lying within the vast water at the bottom of the universe, and thus you are known as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. The nature of the Lord's gigantic body is also explained in this verse. That body is transcendental, untouched by matter. Since the material manifestation has come from his body therefore existed before the material creation. The conclusion is that the transcendental body of Vishnu is not made of material elements. The body of Vishnu is the source of all other living entities as well as the material nature, which is also supposed to be the energy of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devahūti said, you are the background of the material manifestation and all created energy. Therefore, your delivering me from the clutches of Maya by explaining the system of Sankhya philosophy is not so astonishing. But your being born from my abdomen is certainly wonderful, because although you are the source of all creation, you have so kindly taken birth as my child. That is most wonderful. Your body is the source of all the universe, and still you put your body within the abdomen of a common woman like me. To me, that is most astonishing. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Devahūti began to offer her prayers. Devahūti said, Brahma, Aja, is unborn because he takes birth directly from the lotus flower, which comes from your Nabhi, the Lord Padmanabha. And this Lord Brahma, Aja, simply meditate upon you. So the mind of Devahūti here is, in the purport Srila Prabhupada explains, Aja means Brahma, one who is unborn. And that's why Brahmaji also called as Swayambhu, that he has no material father or mother. He is Swayambhu. Swayambhu means he is unborn. He is unborn in the sense that he is directly coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly from the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And when such a Brahma wants to see the Supreme Lord, he has to meditate on the Supreme Lord, and hardly there is darshan of the Supreme Lord. There will be message transmitted, but there will be no darshan directly to even to Brahma. And now devotee says, my dear Lord, Brahma is born from you, and all the material creation is created by Brahma, and you are born from me. And she is smiling and she's saying, and Brahma, who is my creator, he needs, he needs to do tapasya to see you, and hardly he is able to see you. But I have given birth to you, and I am seeing you face to face. This is how devotee. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that conclusion is that the personality of Godhead is transcendental, right? So his body is not the material, his body is Sachidananda Vigraha, and everything, and that is very astonishing to devotee, that how I am born from Brahma's creation, Brahma is born from you, and you are born from me, right? I am born from Brahma's creation, Brahma is much superior to me. Brahma has to take your permission and appointment to see you, and here you are sitting very leisurely in front of me and giving this transcendental knowledge. It is very, very astonishing to me. And this is how Devavati is beginning her prayer with great astonishment. Similarly, we can see Kunti Maharani beginning her prayer. She's saying that, Yad bhiveti swayam bhayam, my dear Lord, you are afraid of Mother Yashoda, and fear personified afraid of you. Very difficult to reconcile all this. These things can be reconciled only on the platform of pure devotional service. Text 3. स एव विश्वस्य भवान् विदत्ते गुणप्रवाहेन विभक्तवीर्यः सर्गादिनीह अवतीथ अभिसन्धिरस्त आत्मश्वरोऽतर्क्य सहस्त्रशक्तिः. Translation.
My dear Lord, although personally you have nothing to do, you have distributed your energies in the interactions of the material modes of nature. And for that reason, the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation take place. My dear Lord, you are self-determined and are the Supreme Personality of Godhead for all living entities. For them, you created this material manifestation, and although you are one, your diverse energies can act multifariously. This is inconceivable to us. Purport. The statement made in this verse by Devahūti that the Absolute Truth has many diverse energies, although he personally has nothing to do, is confirmed in the Upanishads. There is no one greater than him or on an equal level with him, and everything is completely done by his energy as if by nature. It is understood herein, therefore, that although the modes of material nature are entrusted to different manifestations like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, each of whom is particularly invested with different kinds of power, the Supreme Lord is completely aloof from such activities. Devotee is saying, although you personally are not doing anything, your determination is absolute. There is no question of your fulfilling your will with the help of anyone else besides yourself. You are in the end the Supreme Soul and the Supreme Controller. Therefore, your will cannot be checked by anyone else. The Supreme Lord can check others' plans. As it is said, man proposes and God disposes. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead proposes, that desire is under no one else's control. He is absolute. We are ultimately dependent on him to fulfill our desires. But we cannot say that God's desires are also dependent. That is his inconceivable power. That which may be inconceivable for ordinary living entities is easily done by him. And in spite of his being unlimited, he has subjected himself to being known from the authoritative scriptures like the Vedic literatures. As it is said, Shabda Mulatvat, he can be known through the Shabd Brahma or Vedic literature. Why is the creation made? Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead for all living entities, he created this material manifestation for those living entities who want to enjoy or lord it over material nature. As the Supreme Godhead, he arranges to fulfill their various desires. It is confirmed also in the Vedas, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. The Supreme One supplies the necessities of the many living entities. There is no limit to the demands of the different kinds of living entities, and the Supreme One, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, alone maintains them and supplies them by his inconceivable energy.
Devotee is praying, my dear Lord, although personally you have nothing to do, you have distributed your energies in the interactions of the material modes of nature. And for this reason, the reason of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, although you are one, your diverse energies act multifariously, and this is inconceivable to us. So, generally, a person will employ his energy when there is interest, right? So, whenever there is some interest, he will employ his energies. But in the case of the Supreme Lord, diverse energies are employed, and he is aloof from it, hardly interested. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes the beautiful words from the Upanishad. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He has nothing to do. There is no duty to the Supreme Lord. Why there is no duty to the Supreme Lord? Because he is complete in himself. Generally, we perform some duty, we perform some activity so that some incompleteness can be fulfilled. Like somebody is want of money, he will do some job. Somebody is want of more money, he will do some business or something like that. But the Supreme Lord, He is Atmaram. There is nothing is less for him. So there is no duty to the Supreme Lord. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Na tassama adhikascha drishyate. Neither there is anybody equal to the Supreme Lord or greater than him. The great demigods, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva is called as Mahadev, Devoke Dev. He is also a great Vaishnava, right? We have seen that Mahadev, he himself has this Rudra Sampradaya, preaching pure principles of Vaishnava philosophy. So there is nobody equal to or greater than the Supreme Lord. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. And he has multifarious energies, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva, Vividha energies, Shruyate. And these energies, they act Swabhaviki, act so naturally, so flawlessly that person considers, oh my God, does God exists or not? Right? This is the flawless nature of, this is the Swabhaviki, Jnana Bala Kriyacha. These are the energies of the Lord. Jnana Shakti, Bala Shakti, Kriya Shakti, so on and so forth. Right? So this is the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is full and complete, he is completely aloof from such activities. And there is no question of fulfilling his desires outside of himself. Therefore, he is Atmaram. Like when we want to fulfill our desire, we have to depend on somebody else. But that is not the case with the Supreme Lord. He fulfills his desire with his own energies and activities. And he is Swarat. Swarat means nobody can check the plans of the Supreme Lord. Right? And when he plans something, nobody can check it or either. So, Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. So therefore he is Swarat. And there is no question of Satya. Whatever he speaks becomes Satya. Because he is Param Satya. Lord doesn't speak truth. There is a difference. Lord doesn't speak truth. Whatever he speaks becomes the truth. Right? Whatever he speaks. He says, Arjuna, here is the Karna. Kill him. That becomes the absolute truth. He says, Yudhishthir, say, Norova, he says that, Ashwattama Hataha. That becomes the absolute truth. So the reference point is the he himself. And this is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Which is very, very inconceivable to understand for the ordinary living entities. He's lifting over the hills, marrying 16,108 wives in Dwaraka and jumping from a huge, the Pravarsan mountain, miles and miles high. So the activities and the qualities of the Supreme Lord, they are inconceivable to the living entity. And such an inconceivable Lord makes a great mercy upon the living entity and makes himself understandable through the Vedic literature, and therefore is called as Shabda Moolatva. Right? He can be understood through Shabda Brahman. Somebody may ask why the creation is made, and he makes the creation to facilitate the desire of the living entity to lord it over the material nature. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata. Just like when the child wants to play, the big zamindar will create one garden and will say, "Beta jao, khel ke aao." Right. Similarly, when the living entities want to play away from Krishna, away from their parents, Lord creates this material world in the yoga, within his yoga nidra. So he is the personality, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam. Prabhupada writes here, there is no limit to the demands of living entity. They always keep on asking. Why? Because whenever the living entity gives away Krishna, he will lose his sense of satisfaction and completeness. Right? Om Purnamada Purnam verse. And therefore, for the want of Krishna, he will always want to have ye kami hai, wo kami hai, I want this, I want that. Classic example is Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. However much they had, they were always in search, always in need, and always in want of something more. But as soon as he attains Krishna, the living entity is fully satisfied. Text 4. Satvam bruto me jathareena nath katham nu yasyodara etadasit vishvam yugante vatapatra eka shete sma maya shushuangripanah. Translation.
As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have taken birth from my abdomen. O my Lord, how is that possible for the Supreme One who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation? The answer is that it is possible. For at the end of the millennium, you lie down on the leaf of banyan tree, and just like a small baby, you lick the toe of your lotus feet. Perfect. At the time of dissolution, the Lord sometimes appears as a small baby lying on a leaf of banyan tree, floating on the devastating water. Therefore, Devahūti suggests your lying down within the abdomen of common women like me is not so astonishing. You can lie down on the leaf of banyan tree and float on the water of devastation as a small baby. It is not very wonderful, therefore, that you can lie down in the abdomen of my body. You teach us that those who are very fond of children within this material world and who therefore enter into the marriage to enjoy family life with children can also have Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child. And the most wonderful thing is that the Lord himself licks his toe. Since all the great sages and devotees apply all energy and all activities in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of his lotus feet. The Lord licks his toe to taste the nectar for which the devotees always aspire. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within himself, and in order to test his own potency, he sometimes takes the position of testing himself. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but he appears as a devotee to test the sweetness of transcendental mellow in himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees.
Very beautiful verse this is.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Now here Devahūti says, as the Supreme Lord, you have taken birth from my abdomen. Satvam bhruto me jatharena nath. Now look at the words here. Jathara, Udara. Because she is mother of the Supreme Lord. And very, very intimate relation with, what can be more intimate than the relationship of a mother and child? And here the child is going to depart after some time. Right? After speaking all this. So Devahūti is feeling intense feeling of separation from her own dear child, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and now has given this Sankhya Yoga to her. Katham nu yasyo dara etadasi vishvam yugante vatapatra eka. She says, my dear Lord, how it is possible for the Supreme One, who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation, to appear from my belly? Right? So she is. And then she says, oh, it is possible. Why? Because at the end of the dissolution, you lie down on the leaf of the banyan tree, Vatapatra, and just like the small baby will be sucking his or her own toe, similarly, my dear Lord, you also Angripanaha, you are also sucking your toe. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that sometimes at the time of dissolution, the Lord appears as the small baby lying on the leaf of a banyan tree. And this pastime will come in the way back later in the 12th canto, where there is a description of pralaya is very elaborately being discussed. So there we will see this beautiful pastime of Lord laying on the Vatapatra and sucking his toe. And just like a small child, Prabhupada writes here, two things Prabhupada writes. Those who are fond of children, that actually the Lord can become your child. Right. Prabhupada writes here, those who are very fond of the children within the material world and who therefore enter the marriage to enjoy the family life with children can also have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child. The most wonderful thing is that the Lord also acts like the child. And just like the child will suck the toe, similarly, the Lord will also suck, his Lord is also sucking his own toe. And next paragraph, Prabhupada says, why the Lord is sucking the toe? Because the Lord is wondering, why my devotees always talk about my lotus feet, taking shelter of the lotus feet, and they are more happier than me. They are doing service to me, but they are more happier than me. So what is there in my lotus feet? And this is how, and what is there in my devotional service? And this is how the Lord sucks the toe and also appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his own devotee, so that, Prabhupada writes, Lord Chaitanya is Kṛṣṇa himself, but he appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of transcendental mellow of devotional service, especially tested by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. So Vatapatra Shai also is very closely related to Srimati Radharani. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.